Multiplying and dividing integers. Actually, the way we multiply and divide numbers from grade school will still be applicable until now. The only difference, we already have negative sign numbers here. That's why it's a big deal to multiply and divide integers. So let's start with the rules in multiplying integers. So the first one is the product of two numbers with same signs is positive. So positive times positive is positive. Negative times negative is equal to positive. Take note, this kind of rule is only applicable in multiplying integers. The common mistake of some students, they mix up the rules in multiplying integers and adding integers. Remember, the difference between the two, multiplying integers would always end up positive if they have the same signs. But in adding integers, it would depend. It can be positive, it can also be negative, depending on the common sign of the two integers. And now, the second rule, the product of two numbers with different signs is negative. So negative times positive is negative. And positive times negative is equal to negative. So we can summarize the rules in multiplying in this slide. Positive times positive is positive. Negative times negative is positive. Positive times negative or negative times positive, both will end up with negative. So take note, instead of seeing the X mark that would mean multiplication in math, we usually change it already using the parentheses. So just like this one, when you see two sets of parentheses next to each other and you don't see any operation between them, that is already pertaining to multiplication. So let's try some examples. So we have here 15 times negative 3. So perhaps first, do whatever the manner you multiply numbers in grade school. So think as if there's no sign yet, just positive, everything would be positive. So if you have 15 times 3, so you usually do this in grade school. So 3 times 5, 15, and then carry the 1. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 1 is 4. And since they have different signs, so positive times negative is negative. So the final answer is negative 45. Now, negative 12 times 10. So if you notice, this is a 10, right? So you can deal with the 0 later. So 12 times 1 is actually 12, right? And then you can just add 0 on the end. This is only applicable if a number is multiplied to a multiple of 10. So 12 times 1 is 12. And then we add 0. So 120. Since they have different signs, so negative times positive is negative. So negative 120. Then this is your lesson in grade school, memorization of multiplication table. So 4 times 8 is 32. But since both are positive, positive times positive is positive. Next, negative 2 times negative 6. So think as if there's no negative sign yet. So 2 times 6 is 12. And then they have the same sign. Negative times negative is positive. So the answer is positive 12. And finally, we have here three numbers. So you have to do it two numbers at a time. So do not just decide regarding the sign while considering the three of them at the same time. You have to do it two numbers at a time. So perhaps we'll start here from negative 4 to negative 10. So negative 4 times negative 10, 4 times 10 is 40. And then they have the same sign. So that means that would be positive 40. And now you have 40 times negative 2. So why is it that this is not 40 minus 2? So take note, this sign or this symbol is inside the parenthesis. That means that this is pertaining to a sign of a certain number inside it. This is negative 2. And the parenthesis and 40, there's nothing between them. That means the operation is multiplication. So going back, 40 times 2 is 80. And then positive times negative, they have different signs. So the final answer is negative 80. Okay, now, in dividing integers, they're just the same with multiplication. The rule again is when you divide two numbers with the same sign, it will always be positive. And if you will divide two numbers with different signs, it will always be negative. Regarding the manner you divide the numbers, still the same in grade school. So, if you notice, this is the usual symbol that you use in grade school. But in high school, instead of writing the given in a horizontal line, we usually do it vertically, following the format of fraction. So the division symbol that you know now, it will be changed into this, the fraction bar. And the ones on the left, which is a dividend, will be the numerator and the divisor will be in the denominator. Okay, so again, positive divided by positive is positive. The negative divided by negative is positive. Positive divided by negative is negative. And negative divided by positive is still negative. Let us try some example. So we have here negative 36 divided by 12. So, as I was telling you a while ago, instead of using this symbol, we can write it as a fraction. The negative 36 in the numerator, this one becomes a fraction bar, the 12 becomes a denominator. And then, negative divided by positive is negative. Then 36 divided by 12 is 3. Okay, next. We have 144 divided by negative 24. So take note, this one goes in the numerator. This one becomes a fraction bar. The divisor becomes the denominator. This is positive divided by negative, different signs, so negative. Then 144 divided by 24 is 6. So the final answer is negative 6. There is something that you have to take note when you deal with division. 0 divided by any non-zero number equals 0. And that is true all the time. But division by 0 is not allowed. We call it as undefined. So why? That's a question. Why is it that zero, a number divided by zero is undefined? Undefined means it's not defined, it's unknown, cannot be explained, something like that. So for example, you have 5 divided by 0. And let's say you will, usually we always say, or someone would claim that 5 divided by 0 is just a 0. Remember, to check if your answer is correct, we usually do the reverse. The result times the divisor. And it should result to the dividend. In our end here, we're using fraction. So that means multiplying the result with the denominator should result to the numerator. But 0 times 0 is not 5. That's why it's undefined. So you cannot think of any number. Let's say 5 divided by 0. You will say it's a 1. But 1 times 0 is still 0. And it will not result to 5. So that's why it's undefined. Because we cannot think of any answer in which when we do checking, it will result to the dividend or the numerator. Okay, so now let's try to practice. Find the quotient of each expression. So 0 divided by 10, again, it is 0. And 0 divided by any number is just 0. Take note. 0 divided by negative 8 is 0. And then 25 divided by 0 is undefined. So take note everyone, that 0 is neither positive nor negative. So it's not either of the two. So 0 is neutral.